Greetings there prop fans, it's Tony here from Caveman Props, and I'm back today again with another tutorial and yet another blaster, or shall we say phaser. Things have been happening, and the long anticipated new Star Trek TV series Strange New Worlds is about to be released, and we're all looking forward to it. And now something that's happened that's really lucky about is that in the States an exhibition took place of some Star Trek props and memorabilia. In that is some new items from Strange New Worlds that is yet to be seen on screen. Because of that, we got to have a very good look at the new phaser. Now I know some people are asking why are they changing the phasers again, but bear with me and we'll get to it. I've done a couple of Star Trek phasers before. As you may remember, I did the Star Trek first season episode of Picard, the phaser from that one. I know there was a little bit of people who never really liked this phaser anyway, but I thought it was quite an interesting design and something to build. And I also did the one from Star Trek Discovery. Now the reason I really like this one is because I felt that it was slotted in between the pilot episode where they had one phaser and then the original series, so it was kind of a progression from that one to this one to the original series. Now, as we found out in Discovery, obviously the events of the pilot episode were before that, so it all slotted in quite nicely, and obviously this is going to be carried on. So this new phaser, I feel, quite nicely fits between this one and the original series where Kirk's going to take over. So it's kind of building up towards that. That's what I felt when I looked at it. I've also looked at it and thought I can build this one as well. So slightly differently to the way I built this one, but we're going to have a look at that. But if you're interested as well, both the tutorials for both these phasers are on the channel, and the templates for them are on our Etsy store, so you can get them and build and follow along. But now I'm going to attempt to build the brand new phaser from Star Trek Strange New Worlds. Alright, so the first bit we're going to start with is obviously from a template. Is going to be this part. Well, hopefully this template will be available on our Etsy store for you to download if you want to follow this along. So we're going to start with this bit. So I'm going to cut this bit out of a 20mm EVA foam. If you haven't got 20mm EVA foam, just use some contact lint and sandwich two bits 10mm together. Pretty much the same thing, but I happen to have some 20mm thick long, and that's what I've done here. So this is going to be our start here, and then the next bit is obviously this part of the template. So this is very similar to the top here, but you just want to cut this bit in 5mm foam and cut this bit at an angle. So the arrows just mean as I put the knife there, bend the knife out that way and cut a good angle. So I've done that as well. You want two of these, but when you cut them you need to make sure that the other one goes the opposite way, because one's going on one side, one's going on the other. So that's all going to go together. So it's going to bulk the top of this out. And there, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to get our rotary tool on the drum, and we're just going to curve this round a little bit more. We're going to make this bit a bit more curved. We're just going to clean up the edges of this just a little bit round into here, just to make it a little bit more sort of hand grip. It's not curved like the other one, it's going to be a little bit more more square. We're just going to cover up the edges a little bit maybe. So I'm just going to get these bits stuck on and then get that sanded, and I can come back to it. Alright, so there we go. So I've got that on, and I've just like sanded off these edges, just smoothed them off, and then tried to make this bit a bit more curved and kind of mould these bits into one. So we're kind of getting there with kind of the phaser look as we're going. Now we're going to come back to this part of the template because I've drawn all of these lovely lines on here. These need to be transposed onto this, and then what we're going to do is we're going to use my fine tip burning iron, and we're going to burn these into the handle bit and going up into there before we start adding any more detail, because we can then go past up and then the other bits that come on and cover that up. So I'm going to get these on now. just quickly show you that all finished. So I've got all of them in there. Do take your time and go nice and steady. I was doing this line and was like so enthralled at doing it, I went past this line where it wasn't supposed to. It was supposed to just stop there, so I've had to continue it on down there. As you can see on the template, I've only drawn it to there, but I don't think that really takes much away from the look of it. I still think that looks really good, so I'm quite happy with that. So what we're going to do is now we're going to work on the top bit, and then we'll start the wrapping parts. Alright then, so our next part that we're going to work on is going to be this part. This is just a block. I know it seems strange to do it as a template, but I'll do it in there anyway. If you just want to transpose it on, it's 30mm wide by 185mm long, and we're going to put that again on our 20mm foam. Again, if you want, you can just block up to 10mm foams, and what we're going to do is we're going to cut this out, but we're going to cut it out with an angle. Now we don't want to go a 45-degree angle like we've done before, or even further. We just want to go a very slight angle, because the bit on the other side, the width of it, I'm aiming just to get 20mm. So that is the idea with this one. Now it's going to take several cuts because obviously it's 20mm foam. So I'm going to go from straight, just a little bit of an angle, cut that in, and then we're just going to keep going back in a little bit deeper each time. So we're going to do that, and then again on the opposite side, and then what we're going to do is we're going to cut one end straight, and we're going to cut the other end with a bit of the angle as well. So two sides will have the angles, or sorry, three sides will have the angles, and one of the ends will just be straight. Okay, so there we are, we've got it out. It went a little bit funny here, simply because my scalpel had started to dull a little bit. Always make sure you've got really nice, sharp, clean scalpels, otherwise you'll get edging a bit like this. It's just kind of ripped through a little bit, so that's kind of my fault. But for the moment, it really doesn't matter because this is all going to be covered. This is just filling in the middle, so I'm not particularly that fussed about it. So the end we've cut straight is going to go on the end here, so you can see this start to build up a little bit now. Then that's going to walk our way down there to build this part up of that. So we're going to get this on, and then what we're going to do, all the detailing around here is going to be added on as extra. So all this is going to be covered up, obviously apart from this bit, but it will get covered up from about there. So we're going to get this on, get onto the next part of the template, and start wrapping this. Right there, so we've got that on there now, so that's looking quite good from that point of view. I've also put on a little button here. This is just a foam circle. It's left over from a previous project where I had to make a whole piece of pipe. I always save the little bits that come out of that, so that's gone on there. That's looking quite nice. So now we're going to move on and finish off this top bit, and for that bit we need this part of the template. Yeah, so it's quite the large bit, so we're going to cut this out of 5mm foam. These bits down the bottom here we're going to cut with a 45-degree angle because that's all going to be folded. We're also going to mark these two lines that run down the middle on the underside, and then we're going to mark this section on the top side, which I'll show you now because I've already gone. So with a fresh scalpel blade I've cut this piece out. As you can see, I've cut it all out. I've marked this bit on as it is. I've left these bits a little bit longer just so that I can, you know, as I wrap it round, I can cut them perfect where I need to be. And on the underside, obviously, these bits have been cut with a bevel edge. And then what I've done is I've marked these bits out and then cut in from the outside line, obviously working into this bit, a small little bevel running on the edge. You don't want a large one, you don't want to go all the way down to create a really good angle, because we just want it to fold just a little bit, but still almost kind of like be a little bit curved. That's what we're going to do. So what we're going to do is obviously with these bits now we can join these bits up and create the back end, and then what we can do is bring this in, and we're going to stick this in like that, using this as the guide to run down. It obviously overhangs just a little bit, and then what we can do is we can start wrapping this bit around the handgun. So we're going to crack on, get that on now, and then show you the rest. So there we are, we've got that wrapped around. I think that's looking quite good. It's starting to look more like the phaser's supposed to. So we're getting there. Now I know some of you are probably saying this bit is supposed to be a part that comes out station, so why isn't that bit being cut out? What I'm going to do, I know it normally is, and I did it on the other one, but I'm going to cheat with this one simply because the next part of the template is this part, and basically what we're going to do is cut this out of 3mm foam, which is what I've done here, and I've already pre-cut the two bits here for the dials, and then basically what we're going to do is we're just going to stick this on. So once this is on, this will just look like another bit on there and looks like it could come out if needed. So it's just going to go on and look like the part in there. So we're going to get that piece on, and once that's on we can just start adding more details to this and then build the front emitter part. So there we are, we've got this on. That's looking really good now. It's kind of looking more like what I'm planning to do. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to work on the details, and what I've done is I've cut this bit out of the template and marked it on there. Now we've got it on, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my fine tip wood burner and the ruler, and we're going to etch these lines into it, and then what we're going to do is we're going to create the bit that goes in here for that, and then we're going to start adding the details. So there's some stickers here, little controllers here, there's a button at the back here, some more details around here and on the side here. So we'll do this bit and then we'll start adding the bits and pieces as we go. Right, here we go. So I've done that. I just looked back at the bit that I was filming doing this and realised that as I was holding it close to me over here, so you couldn't really see. But what I've done is I've used the ruler like that, and we've etched these lines in, and then using the very tip I've managed to create this effect on here. I've also created a couple of lines that run down here, and now what we're going to do is move on to the rest. So there's a button that goes here, and what I've done for that is I've cut out two circles in the 3mm foam. I'm going to put one there and then one on the top of it. That's going to create our button there. Got two more of them which I'm going to stick on the side here to create that, and then I've got some strips of thin foam that I've cut out, and we're going to use that to create the details that wrap around this back bit that come from the button here, and one that's going to go down the side of that bit like that. I've looked at a couple of pictures and I can't work out whether that is a line that goes inwards or one that sticks out. Now on the Discovery one it was one that sticks out, so I'm going to keep it to the same. I made my decision, so that's going to go on there like that. Wrap that. So we're going to wrap all of that. Also there's a button to go on here as well, so I'm going to sort that out, get all of that on, and then we'll start working on the end of the emitter. Okay then, so I just wanted to quickly show you this with all the details now added to it. I think it's starting to really kind of look the part now. I'm getting it to look there. So these are all put on. Take a lesson from me, always check your reference images. For the simple fact is I put these bits on upside down. The longest one should be on the bottom and the angle should go up that way, not that way. So it's my fault. I put them on and then I looked back and realised I'd done it wrong, but it always shows that when you think you know you're doing it correctly, it's always best just to double check. Always double check. So now this is done, so what we're going to do is we're going to coat this in a Flex Hex primer in black. So I'm just going to get that sorted, and then that will be ready for painting. And now we're going to work on the emitter bit, and for that I've done a little drawing which I will add to the template as well. And for this I'm going to use some foam dowel. So I'm going to use a piece of foam dowel for the middle, and then what we're going to do is we're going to wrap it. So I've cut a piece like this, it's got a straight edge there and an angle there, and what we're going to do is we're going to wrap this around that to create that piece, and then what I've done is I've cut another piece with two angles on it, and that's going to wrap around the middle here. Now what I've done here is I've divided this bit, once I got it to the right length, divided this bit into 8 parts, and then every other part I've marked in. I think each part, my 8 parts here worked out to 12mm. So So what I've done is every 2mm done a mark in between each one, and what we're going to do now, to show you that, is we're going to take the ruler and we're going to use the scalpel, nice sharp scalpel, and what we're going to do is we're just going to etch in a little line every 2mm down this bit. Now what this is going to do is once it's wrapped around, these will start to open up, and we're also going to heat treat it, so they will start to open up a little bit more, and these will add the look of like the little grip bits that will go around. So there'll be 4 parts to this to go around. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to carry on, get this bit done, and hopefully get the emitter bit all put together, and then I can show you what it's like. Okay, so here it is all finished. What I've done, put it together, also put the heat gun over it to try and open these up a little bit more, so you can see what it's trying to do there with the hand grips. As I've done it, it's kind of opened this bit up a little bit, but I kind of like this because there was a little bit of an opening there on the images of the original, so I kind of like that idea rather than it being flat. I'm not saying I did this deliberately, obviously. No, it was obviously goes there, but if you want to keep it flat, obviously it just needs a bit more glue on that inside as you go before you heat it. I obviously didn't glue it quite enough because I just made the tube, put it in, it was glued here, so here it's obviously opened up a little bit, but I kind of quite like that look of it, so that's going to go quite good. Obviously what I've done is I've put it on a stick because I'm going to keep this separate from the main body, so we're going to coat and paint this separately. It just saves me a little bit of masking later, so we're going to crack on with this and then we'll show you the finished paint job. So I've kind of jumped ahead a little bit here because obviously we're getting a little bit overzealous with it. So after I coated this with the Hex Flex undercoat, I sprayed it all with a nice black gloss colour, and then what I did was I masked off the bottom handle part and sprayed this top part. I originally sprayed it with like a kind of like dark metallic blue. I was trying to sort of get there, but this was a bit too light. It was very not quite right. I mean, I did like it. It was a nice colour, but didn't match the images that I've got. So I then kind of gave it a light spraying over, kind of with this. This is called a graphite. It wasn't quite there, so I gave it another spray with the graphite, and we've ended up with this. I don't have anything else, so I'm going to run with this for now, because I kind of quite like it. It's as close as I've got. So all I've got to do now, and obviously then I masked this bit off and sprayed this bit black again, so we now have the sections there. So what I've got to do now is little bits of finishing off. So this strip, this button, this bit, the grate in here that I've made, these bits, the base of this button, and these bits all need to be painted up with silver. So I'm going to do those bits, add a little bit of colour there. I'm going to do that bit red, and then basically the thing is done, so that just needs to be attached there, and hopefully then we should all be done, and this should be great, ready for display. Okay, right, so for the small bits of details, just the lines here, these bits and what have you, I'm going to use my silver paint pen, because I think it's just going to give me that little bit more control. I'm still a bit undecided about this grate bit. I might try it with the pen. If I don't like it, then I'm going to get my silver paint out and paint that bit. But for now, I think these bits are just going to come out brilliant with the silver pen, because that's what happens. We just go along this like that, and it will just need a couple of coats of this, and we'll get that details in. So I'm going to do the button, this, these bits, and then I'll look at the top part next. Just a quick one. So I've used the pen and I've done this grid bit. It's come out really well, and also what I like is that it's just gone across the surface, so the black paint is still within the holes, so it kind of adds that effect of it being a bit of the great look. None of the silver's gone down into the holes. So I'm just going to go around now, finish off the last few bits, and then I'll stick this on and we'll all be done. Right, so there we go, guys. That is all finished. I got the paint job done on it. I'm not sure how well you can see the silver coming up against this graphite on here, but it's definitely showing up here against on the black. and the grating on the top there. It's all looking rather good. I'm very pleased with how this came out, and how, you know, simple it was to make using very basic materials. I didn't even use a lot of materials. Using the 20mm foam has really kind of helped just to build this place out. So it was actually a really cheap build. I reckon with the cost of materials, this was under £5 to build. And I didn't compare it to my previous one, I just wanted to keep them separate, but they've actually come out pretty much the same size. I mean, you can't look at that, that's not anything much difference there. So I was worried this one was going to be a little bit bigger, but now I've put the two next to each other. I'm really quite pleased with how that came out. But there we go, guys. Hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. Please like, please subscribe, and obviously give us a comment. Let us know what you think. Do you like this new one from the Strange New World, or, you know, this one? What is your favourite phaser? Do you have any love for the one from season 1 of Picard? I know a lot of people didn't really like this one, but this was quite a good fun build to make as well. Check those other tutorials out on our channel. But there we go. So this one's all done. I'll be adding to the collection now. So tell me, which other ones do you think we should be making? Are there any other phasers? Maybe one of the other races rather than the Federation ones we should be making? But, you know, give us a comment. Let us know. So please like, please subscribe, and I will catch you all in the next tutorial soon.